TD Synnex Inspire. Great event this week. Greenville, South Carolina, headquarters of TD Synnex. They were gracious enough to have me. There was 4 podcasters there, maybe 3. It was a great time. Attention to detail. The team that ran it, absolutely spectacular. The team that brought me there was gracious. They were accommodating. Nothing fell through the cracks. I mean, guest setup. I mean, everything. It was a flawless event. And when I talked to the attendees, it was the best one ever. The big vendor pavilion, lots of great vendors there. It's just a really, the energy was so up. There was a DJ. I'm so glad podcasters were there. We're seeing more and more podcasters at every event now. If you go to an event and there's not a podcast, there's not at least one podcaster, there should be multiple. You should reach out and let them know. But it was a great event. Did 6 great conversations. And I really enjoyed every single one, all really completely different. Francisco Criado was incredible. He was in distribution, left, and came back. Really great insight. Discipline, distribution, and the future of AI. TD Synnex has some great press releases that were announced. One is called AI Pioneers. Great program. We talked about it. So did Jessica, was the next guest as well. Their tech report was just launched that they put in so much time and energy. Next guest, Jessica McDowell, was an absolute delight. She was really straightforward. We opened up with her daughter just won a pageant and how that what's around that and how that works, but just absolute delight. Smart as nailed. My goodness, really smart, really driven. Really great conversation with Jennifer. I was able to talk to her a little bit afterwards as the days went on, but just really engaging. And of course, Gary Pattenbaum from New York, of course. We call the title. By the way, Jessica's title was on partner growth and cybersecurity. Gary, from Brooklyn to boardroom. Gary Pattenbaum on partner success and growth. But Gary was an absolute delight. We had a lot in common. We're both from the Northeast. He went down south and how he got involved. He's been in distribution for 30 years, but just a great conversation with Gary. Very, very direct, knows distribution very well, wants to expand. We talked about MSPs and partnerships with partners. Great conversation with Gary. Then Terry McGill came, who is an MSP and a VAR there in Texas, in the Dallas area, DFW. I was able to meet him. I love talking with MSPs. How did they start? Where are they? Great conversation with Terry, from Mesquite to Managed Services. Mitch. Oh yes, Mitch Macauley was great too, from Lenovo. Fascinating background. Mitch grew up in Eastern Europe a little bit, and then had his formative years in Western Africa, then came to United Kingdom, then came to the States. Interesting and very fascinating discussion with Mitch. Bridging cultures, building partnerships, lessons from Mitch Macauley. Great conversation with Mitch. And then it rounded out with Rob Purcell. Great conversation with Rob. Every day, 22 veterans commit suicide. Rob came up to me at the podcasting booth and said, "Look, Joe, there's something I want people to know. You have to understand this. He's got a not-for-profit, 22 Vets it's called, there in the Chicago area, and he also has a technology company as well. And one helps the other. 22 Vets Technology." Great conversation with Rob. He's a vet himself. What the plight is there, how we can help more, but just wonderful conversations. 6 of them there in Greenville, South Carolina. Really enjoyed it. Thanks for watching and listening. Hi, I'm Joey Pinz, and here's my 45-second introduction. After starting my business in the 90s, I started developing poor habits of eating in my diet because of working way too much. I found myself at 340 pounds. The doctor told me if I don't lose the weight, I'm not going to see my daughter graduate. I took the next 7 months, lost 130 pounds. People ask me, how'd you do it? What's the secret? I need to lose weight. How'd you do it? How'd I lose the weight? Just one word: discipline. I've had other successes in life, and I attribute them all to discipline. Now, I'm not the king of discipline, but I believe that it can help all of us. Friends convinced me to start a podcast. The podcast mission: how do we better ourselves and society? I talk to interesting people in health, fitness, sport, wellness, business, technology, science, art, and culture. And I eventually ask them how discipline plays a role in their life. Podcast Vision, growth through learning from others. That's right.
Okay.
So tell me about you, Europe, North Africa, Europe, New York.
Oh, personal stuff. Yes. A man that has moved around quite a bit.
Yes.
No, I was actually born in Europe.
Where in Europe? Big continent.
Big continent, but I'm gonna stick with East Europe.
Okay.
We'll stick with the eastern side of the continent.
Okay.
But mom and dad met as a college student years back, right? So I'm a product of a mixed racial relationship.
I say.
And I was raised by my dad's side of the family, who's half Irish, half African.
Huh.
And so I'm raised by a grandmother in West Africa, Sierra Leone. And I was there. I did all my elementary school in there.
At Sierra Leone.
Sierra Leone, yeah.
And what's the primary language there?
It's English is the official language.
I say.
And they have about 17 different
Of course.
local dialects.
Yes. And you were there for grammar.
Are we live right now?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
And you were there for grammar?
Yes, I was there. Well, I'm a grandma's boy.
Ah.
So she passed, but I was a product of being raised by a loving grandmother.
Wow.
I spent about a year in the UK for schooling. Went back to Africa, finished, came back to the US, spent about half a year in New York, and then finished high school in California.
Oof.
And went to college in California, worked in California. I studied engineering and mathematics.
Where in California? North or south? In
Los
LA?
Angeles, South. And I went to an all-technical school called California Polytechnic University, short Cal Poly for short. So studied engineering and mathematics there. Finished schooling and started working for McDonnell Douglas. I'm giving my age away now. But I worked for McDonnell Douglas, who was an aerospace company.
Sure.
And later merged or hostile takeover by the Boeing.
Yeah, Boeing, yeah.
So I worked as a scientist and engineer for Boeing for about 4.5 years. And figured out I didn't want to spend the rest of my life in front of blueprints and whatnot.
Really?
But I actually did a lot there, which it helped. It helped pave the way for where I am today. Did a lot of not just engineering and back-end work, but at the end of my time at Boeing, I worked in the flight test department.
I see.
I did electrical testing, then we did flight simulations. Spent a couple of months with the C-17 military side of the business before being part of a massive layoff that made me take a different path in my career. So I started to do more of product development, beta testing, getting more into the marketing side of the business. I did my master's on the side, and because I wanted to be more in the people and the business side of technology while maintaining the background.
Right.
So that's what led to where I am today. I mean, from there, I worked for a few companies in California, most manufacturing companies for the most part, but I worked more not just on the development of the product, but in the route to market of the product and in figuring out how to be more customer centric. And so that led me to, I moved to North Carolina. I had a scholarship to do a PhD program at UNC, which I didn't finish that, but later started my own business in the middle of that during the crisis that we had that went on back in 2008-9. We lost some funding, but
Housing crash.
Yes, that's part of it.
Yeah.
A lot more other things into that. But that led me to start my own consulting, contracting business, and I got Lenovo as a contract Back then, I think in 2013, 2014, I started a contract with Lenovo, and I started to do relationships with other tech companies that would prefer to utilize a big company in their pathway to market and their clientele, but spend the R&D, develop the products, white label it, and try to develop that business. So I supported the end-to-end business for 4 or 5 different manufacturing companies who worked with Lenovo at that time to develop products, bring products to market, teach the salespeople. And my role there was a worldwide role. So it started from having an idea that you bring forth, to the development of that idea, to being the intermediary between the two engineering teams to make that product come to life, and then do all the go-to-market stuff, and then do the pre-sale stuff, train the salespeople, and go out and represent the pseudo partnership for the most part. So that lasted for about 5-6 years, and then I got offered a permanent position as a general manager for third-party offering business for Lenovo. That aligns with the history of my education and my career path. And obviously in this business, everybody knows what they know.
Yeah.
So Lenovo knows what the core competencies are. We know what we make. We know what we're good at. We focus on what we're good at, which is the hardware, which is the PC and the tablet and the servers, and the services that support all of this structure. But there are gaps in product lines, and nobody wants to reinvent the wheel when it comes to what the customer wants. And as technology is being taken over now with AI playing bigger role now, and will continue to play a bigger role in our industry, you want to be able to focus more on the needs of the customer. And the needs of the customer is not just the product, it's not just the service and the warranty and the application that you are dealing with. It's the usage of the customer, it's the applications, it's how do we bring all that together so that it's a seamless solution that really focuses on helping the customer, not just with what they need to use, but how to use it, how to support them, how to service all of that. And so that's where I come in now. I'm a gap filler now.
I see.
I'm the guy who is responsible for the strategic partnerships of myself with other Fortune 500 companies that want to work with us, where we can take their products to market through our channels and develop a joint business that makes sense for everybody, so we can be a full and 100% customer-centric type of business.
Huh. But Mitch, when you're born in Eastern Europe, you spend childhood in Western Africa. You're in the United Kingdom after that, Western Europe. So then when you come to the States, were there any kind of lessons you had to? I mean, for many of us in the States, we're not used to this kind of upbringing. And were there many kind of hills you had to climb to kind of understand?
Of course. Back when I got here, we were not truly, as America's always been diversified, right? We were born, as a country, we're born with the infiltration of immigrants.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into any politics.
Sure.
Right, but that's what built the country. But at the same time, there's a lot of cultural differences. My background helped me to adapt quicker.
I see.
But you're faced with, I sound different.
Right.
I pronounce this word a little differently. I see things a little differently from what the typical born-raised American in the same neighborhood is used to seeing. A little bit more cultured because I've experienced different things. But the biggest hurdle to climb back then was to feel in place, to feel a part of the new society that you are there with, and so that they can respect you and your knowledge beyond what comes out of your mouth as far as how you sound, how you pronounce this word versus how they pronounce that word. So a majority of that obstacle was trying to fit in, and at the same time holding true to your core values,
Right.
and your core beliefs, and creating a network of people that see you for who you are, that you are able to grow with, and to stay focused and out of trouble. So that was the big challenge. It's fitting in was the biggest challenge.
So you had to kind of acclimate, assimilate, but you still want to keep some of your culture, your heritage, right? I mean, is that a battle?
It was back then, right? I mean, you're looking at 30 plus years ago versus today, with the advent of the internet over the years that I've been here, and information seemingly flowing throughout the rest of the world with the snap of a finger. That wasn't available when I came to the U.S. We didn't even have cell phones when I came to the U.S. Right? And information and news and what's happening and how we see the U.S. when I was a child back in Africa versus how the world sees the U.S. in Africa today.
Right.
Night and day.
Wow.
Night and day. You go to Africa now, everybody has CNN, everybody has sports channels. You see everything live, and versus having to wait for a week before you process information that you hear, and the world has already moved on. Right. So the advantage of the microwave society has been beneficial to today's society. We didn't have in the past. So I would say for people coming in now, it's much easier. Right. That's maybe the challenges and the obstacles now would be vastly different from what we had to deal with. Just because you now know, because you've seen it, right? Versus you coming into something you heard but never saw.
So we're here in Greenville, South Carolina at the big TD Synnex Inspire. What are your goals this week, Mitch?
So my goal is to continue to grow my business and to grow the network that we have formed with being a partner of Tech Data Synnex, right? We route a lot of our business through them. They're a premier partner of mine. And one of the things we achieve in these types of events is putting a face to some of the relationships that we've been able to forge virtually over the last 12 months prior to when I was here last time. We're continuously expanding partnerships with companies. We're continuously expanding route to markets and the business beyond the US and Canada. We're continuously trying to figure out ways to collectively work together. And the biggest thing that I get out of this is meeting people, sitting down in person and talking to them, and getting to find solutions together. How we can work better together. So it's been a great event for that. And then sitting down with my executive colleagues to figure out the state of the business today and where we want to see the state of the business tomorrow.
And, you know, I'm a former managed service provider, MSP, Mitch, so I kind of look at partnership through that lens. How is what you do friendly with managed service providers?
That's a great question, right? Because that's the core of my business.
Is it?
Yes, because like I said earlier, we know what our core competencies are. We can't be jack of all trade.
Right.
We have to rely on other people who are industry experts in their field, in their product, in their technology. And we don't want to reinvent that wheel, right? Whether it's partnering with them for a product or partnering with them for a service, providing a platform where as managed service providers, we can all sit down and collectively figure out how to do a business, how to create a solution, how to make things easier and better for the customer. And at the end of the day, the consumer is who we're all serving. So everybody outside of my immediate team is a customer, including my salespeople. You go beyond that to my partners and companies, manufacturing partners and manufacturing service providers that I work with. Networking is a big part of that. Being able to see what the future holds for all of us, being able to provide everything that we feel the consumer is going to need to make their lives easier is what's important. And all that's part of being an MSP.
It sure is. So I talk to MSPs every day. There's three things that have been keeping them up for night pretty consistent last 5 or 6 years. The first is cybersecurity. If their clients get attacked, they've got to allocate resources. They're going to lose money. They're probably going to be fired from their client. They may even be sued. Number two is human capital. If their big techs leave, how are they going to replace them? Unemployment in IT here in the States is 1% maybe. Third is just general growth. Private equity has poured in hundreds of millions of dollars. Their friends are selling their MSPs. How do I grow mine? Can Lenovo help?
I mean, definitely. At some level, all the big tech companies can help, right? Not just us, but the way that we try to make sure that we are part of that level playing field is to help with the resource management that has to do with funneling not just people resource but capital resource into it. As you mentioned, capital investors coming into a business.
Yeah.
It's also to figure out where you want to funnel the money and what's going to move the needle. As far as we're concerned, there are key strategies that we have in place that we have to support the environment that we're utilizing to do our business and manufacturing our products. We've got to make sure we're sustainable, so we spend a lot of money, time, and resources there. We're using some of that to make our products on the branded side of the business, which I'm not a part of, but I support. Utilizing resources cross culture. One of the biggest things I love about working at Lenovo is worldwide. It's a global presence.
Right.
I mean, we got people developing products and concepts all over the world. In Asia Pacific, in the PRC, in China, in Europe, in Japan, in Northern Africa, here, of course, in the US and in Canada. And that cross-functional collaboration that we have internally helps us to be able to adapt more when we have to work on these types of things with our partners as well. And then come together to support the neighborhoods that we are in. In North Carolina, we do a lot of support with the communities there, high school levels. We provide internship programs. We work in conjunction with some of the collegiate schools we have there, the universities, NC State and them. There's a lot of partnership and collaboration going on with how we can continue to grow tomorrow's society by spending money, time, and resources with the next generation. So I have to give them, as a company, they do a very good job.
Right. It's tough. It's tough to be an MSP. It's tough to be a great provider to help them. It's how has AI affected what you do?
It's helping.
Is it?
A lot of people thinking maybe justifiably so, for some specific instances, that AI might be more of a manipulator, an abuser versus a help and a way to progress. Our thought process with AI is that it's here to help. It's here to enhance. It's here to make. It's not here to replace the human entity and the human side of the business. AI cannot do what we do.
That's right.
See emotions.
Yeah.
AI can do what we do. We can have a conversation with two robots sitting across from each other, right? But there's a people and a customer service and a customer-centric side of the business that you need from end to end, that robotics and machines cannot replicate. And from a software standpoint, we're busy. I get thousands of emails a day, right? As an example, I mean, AI is not going to take a job away from reading your emails. It's going to help you organize them.
Right.
It's going to help you prioritize them. It's going to help lead you to what you need to look at first and how you prioritize A through Z. So I think overall there are certain things that the AI can be disruptive about, and our industry is a disruptive industry anyways.
Yeah.
Every time you invent new things, every time you make something better, you're disrupting something. You're taking away from something that was there.
Interesting.
People are always resistant to change, and AI is a change. It's a change for the better, but we have to drive and get to the better. And there's going to be obstacles along the way that we're all going to see and face and forced to deal with. But at the end of the day, it's going to make life easier and better for us as providers and for our customers as the end user. So that's how we see it. We see it as something that's going to help our business end to end, from logistics to procurement to the sales side of the business to figuring out how we get a level playing field in terms of how we deal with even our competitors and how we service our customers, right? And how we make our products and our services and our overall service to the customer better.
Mitch, has there been anything in the last month or so you changed your mind on?
Of course. I mean, do you know how many decisions we make on a daily basis just as humans? Do you want to guess?
2,500.
That's a very good guess, right? And when I first thought about that or looked into that, because I was curious, I'm like, I make so many decisions. I'm thinking maybe 500-600. A normal everyday human being makes over 30,000 decisions.
Wow.
Scientifically proven.
Wow.
30,000. But from when you wake up to figuring out, do I want to shower today or not?
Right,
people have to make that decision in a hurry to go to work.
Right.
What shoes do I wear? What pants do I wear? What socks do I wear? What's my day going to look like? Who am I going to meet with today? Who am I going to cancel on the day? These are all decisions that don't even have to deal with your professional environment yet. And now you go to your professional environment and there's just every second at my level decisions that you have to make that could make or break something. And sometimes you got to make them right on the fly, right? You got to make them and live with them. Hopefully not all of them are critical. I'm not saying all of these decisions are life-threatening and life-altering decisions, but they're decisions that you make that can alter the way your day ends or the way your day goes, right? So obviously, you in some point during the day, more than once, more than 10 times, more than 100 times, you're gonna do and say and make decisions that you hope you didn't do. So that's life.
It sure is.
Definitely.
Yeah. Started my MSP in 93. I was working way too hard, Mitch. You had businesses, 14, 16-hour days, putting my health in the back seat, not working out. I'm in front of the doctor. She tells me I'm at 340 pounds. I had gained an incredible amount of weight. She says to me, if you don't, thank you. She says, if you don't lose this weight, you're not going to see your daughter graduate. My daughter was just born. Scared the life out of me.
I can imagine.
Next 6-7 months, lost about 120 pounds, 130 pounds, kept it off. And I tell people this, they say, how'd you do it? What's your secret? I say, there's no secret, discipline, right? Motivation, willpower, focus, routine. How does discipline play a role in your life?
1,001%. Right? You just said discipline plays a role in our personal lives, in our professional lives, because you look at the way the world is. Everything you have to achieve involves discipline. Different types of discipline, right? There's the self-discipline, there's the work ethic discipline, there is the motivation discipline.
Right.
I need to push myself to do this because this is my goal, and there's a reason for you to have all these disciplines in place to get there. You have to be disciplined.
Yes.
It's so difficult to manage and balance work life today. Like what you said with your health and people in our position, we're always struggling with that. And I have figured out that you have to use your job and your work to fit that balance in.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to be on an event for 3-4 days. There's a million things going on. These networking events. You have to go eat with this person. You got to go drink with that person. You want to stay out late, and you got to wake back up in the morning. You got to balance that stuff out, right? You got to make sure that you're disciplined enough to know that how do I prioritize my day to day? What do I have to do tomorrow? And when's my cutoff? Well, that's part of being disciplined.
Sure is.
Otherwise, the rest of your week is not going to go as planned. And that's going to create an outcome for may go one way or the other, as opposed to what you would have loved for it to be. So 100% in your work, I tell my daughter that all the time. Discipline is 60% of the battle, if not more.
Wow.
In work, in sports, you listen to some of these successful athletes talk, and what drives them is their discipline. That you're a professional at something, there's a million other professionals at that same thing. What exemplifies you and puts you over the top is how disciplined you are versus the other person. How much work do you want to put into this thing, and how much do you love it enough to be disciplined enough to do it?
Mitch, I thank you so much for your time. Really great talking with you. Anybody watching or listening and they want to get in touch with you, how can they do so?
They can reach me at my business phone number. That's
I don't know, maybe email, maybe not a phone number. Yeah.
Email would be Andreas, Andreas, J, Mac, MAC, at Gmail.
Okay. And
LinkedIn.
And LinkedIn, of course. Yeah.
That would be Mitch, JAM.
Very good. Mitch, I thank you so much for your time.
Likewise.
I appreciate it.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
time.
Thank you for listening and or viewing Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations. Please share this episode with one or two of your friends who you think may benefit from the episode. Our website, www.joeypinz.com. There you'll find lots of resources and you could join our mailing list. Please follow us on all our social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Podcast information, the video version of our podcast is on YouTube. Please subscribe. Audio is on all major podcasting platforms. Please follow them. And if you like it, please consider giving 5-star rating. Would really appreciate that. Thank you again for listening or watching Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations.